Okay, it's setting up your meeting
Ooh,
for Facebook
nice.
Live.
Look at that.
Does it look professional?
It really does. Live. I'm going to start with one quick thing.
Are you?
Tell me when we're starting. We're
Well,
saying meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
well, there you go. Now,
So would this be a good time to start?
this would be a good
You
time
host this?
for me to tell you we're on air.
We're on
We're
air.
live. I'm actually over on my page looking for us, and I don't see us, but that doesn't. No, there we are.
There it is. Oh, every time I forget, there you are, you gorgeous devil.
Hello. All right, let's be official, and let me officially, before we get into the wit part of this, because guys, we've been on this call for probably 3-4 minutes, and it's been nothing. I have tissues like this crying because I'm already laughing and we haven't even started. I see this man's face. I don't know what that means. And I chuckle. Yeah. But let me officially introduce you.
All right. I'll try not to interrupt.
Try not to laugh. Try not to. Please don't interrupt
me. Make sure you pronounce my name correctly, Aaron Glassman.
Here we go.
Yes. And remember to smile. People are watching. You are being broadcast upon the globe.
Out into the webs of humanity. Okay, no pressure. I actually love this kind of. Yeah, let's
the pressure can't be any stronger than that which is in your bladder. So please do not.
Do you see?
Let your pants get a puddle party.
Do you see? Okay, let me just shut your hole for a second, and I'm going to introduce you. Here's the thing. On paper.
Are we wrapping this up yet?
No.
Oh, you wrote
on paper. It's a very long bio that I have to read because he's so important and he's done so many amazing things. So let me just give me a split second to get through this bio. I'm going to get serious now for about as long as it takes me to read these 5 pages. In 1996, this is my friend and transformational trainer, Aaron Glassman. Aaron Glassman. He'll tell you exactly how to say his name when he has an opportunity.
Yeah,
we'll have an opportunity. In 1996, Aaron had what he refers to as a spiritual awakening while alone inside I have this on my computer. This is going to be easier. While alone inside the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza. I would say that's pretty profound. Upon returning from his journey around the world, Aaron began to write, speak, teach, lead retreats all over the world, and channel for individuals and audiences. And over the past 20 years, he has founded and sold several companies that he refers to as soul-centered, purpose-driven entrepreneurial adventures. Now you know why I have him on here. Some of these companies included music production, education, plant-based foods, energy, alternative beverages, and Science of Love, a personal transformation education company. In addition, Aaron has enjoyed speaking on stage and or holding counsel with some of the top spiritual leaders in the world. This is impressive, including Marianne Williamson, Barbara Marx Hubbard, and Michael Beckwith. Aaron is the author of the upcoming book, Be the Wave, Spiritual Technology to Discover Your Life's Purpose, which I can't wait to. Will that be on audio book so I can just hear I'm not done yet with your bio. Hold on.
I can read it to you actually tonight.
That's timeout. Aaron is also co-owner of the White Spring Cottage that sits atop the sacred White Spring and is part of the White Spring Restoration Project in Glastonbury, UK. When I read that, I was like, wow, he's kind of a big guy. He's like kind of a big shot. Yeah. Here's what Aaron believes.
I had to pull a lot of strings to
really, I really had to. I had to get with his assistant to get on his calendar.
Yeah.
Aaron believes we have the solutions to the problems we face today, just a shortage of individuals who are ready to step up and own their leadership out in the world. Aaron,
tell me, really, I am impressed.
You really should be impressed with yourself.
I thought this was Oprah.
I am Oprah.
Somebody told me, get on Facebook Live with Oprah. They gave me the Zoom link, and then I saw your face, and I saw, yes, okay, good. Which I have been reading to nauseum over the last week.
Right here. That's all for you, okay? Yeah. So let's just dive into, so here's the thing. I recorded a video right before we got on here, a little like an hour ago, on my Soul, Wit, and Wisdom website. So Soul, Wit, and Wisdom is the website that you're going to go to at the end of this interview, should you choose to want to consume, accept him as a human being, and choose to consume Aaron's free gift for you, which, by the way, I've been using his gift personally, and it's amazing. So you do want it. However, I wanted to give a little bit of history around how I started this and why I actually chose as my very first interview the infamous, the famous, the infamously famous.
So really, you're going to talk more,
Aaron Glassman. I am,
and you're going to talk more about you.
I really am, and you knew this. You knew this was going to happen. So if you haven't already noticed, Aaron and I are actually friends. We actually, I don't know, like each other. I love this man, and I like him because he makes me laugh. And why I chose soul, wit, and wisdom is because it really is it's a big part of who you are and who I am in this journey of discovering self, big S self. And I wanted him to be on here because when we riff and we do this banter back and forth, it's magical. And for those of you who were leadership coaches with us in the last leadership program that we did, you know that we had a really good time with a skit, and Aaron is just masterful at impersonation. So while he's this deep, spiritually profound human being on the planet, elevating consciousness for like every single, like if you're watching this, you're just watching his face, you're already elevated. You're already like, you're done. You're good. Like you can stop watching right now. You've gotten there. You're on the mountaintop. Like just by viewing the face of this man. However, I did want to have a couple conversations with you. So you can take this wherever you want, and we can go wherever you want to go with this.
Free reign. None of that purchased rain. Free reign.
Rain it out.
Rain on me.
So tell us a little bit about your spiritual
awakening. Boy.
Whatever you want to talk about. We don't have enough
time for that. Thank you, Kristen. It's a pleasure to be here with you in your company. Thank you for making me number one.
You are number one.
In your interview series. And, you know, it's a funny thing because human beings, we all like to compartmentalize, you know, somebody's this or somebody's that. But when somebody's kind of like bringing soul, wit, and wisdom together, it's like, well, who the hell are you? You know?
Good question.
In the sense of like, there's not that many kind of witty, funny, entertaining people out there speaking about consciousness. Maybe there are, I don't know that many of them. There are those with sense of humor, but it's such an important vibration, isn't it? Laughter, bringing levity and lightness to enlightenment.
Yep.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
To lighten up, to enlighten up, to lighten up just a bit, especially in times like this, where it can seem, or so many can have an experience of this being very dense and serious time. So, yeah, what did you want to talk about?
You know, it's so funny. I'm looking at
Lead me. Is anybody? Yeah,
I've got people. My stepmom says you two are exactly what we need right now, which is true because, you know, part of like it's funny because this whole here's the deal, and Aaron knows this about me. I have been on what I call in different phases of my life, not like you had, Aaron, not the same sort of in the pyramids of Egypt and King's time. Like I didn't have that sort of an experience, but throughout my life, there's been what I would call like steps up in my evolution as a human being, in my ascension, in my spiritual connection. The last year, so 2019 was a big one, was a kind of a big, like really stepping into that for myself. And what I've been saying back here is I'm coming out of the spiritual closet, you know, like really stepping into the work that I get to do in the world is empowerment and it is self-expression. But my definition of truth and self-expression is that you're speaking your spiritual truth. So we're speaking the highest truth of who we are. And for people like me, which I call myself a spiritual noob, like, you know, I don't know a lot of the spiritual tech, you know, the terms, and you guys, you know, and I really revere, and I will just say this in all truthfulness, I revere people who are thought leaders and spiritual leaders. And that is how I hold you. And you've been, and in all truthfulness and honesty, and you have been a you made a profound difference in my life over the last 4 months in me stepping into my spiritual truth. And so
Awesome.
soul, wit, and wisdom, you know, what do you want to say about any of it? I allow you to go wherever you're feeling called to go in the conversation. And I
Awesome.
want to acknowledge you for who you've been for me. So thank
Well,
you for
thank
being
you
here.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetheart. That's very, very generous, very kind. And I receive that. My process into getting into the King's Chamber was an evolution, just as you are having an evolution. I left my life. I left Los Angeles, where I was a struggling actor, being very, you know, a typical story, almost a, you know, God, what's that word I'm looking for right now?
I know the word.
A cliche. I was a cliche. I was a living cliche in Hollywood. I had the right haircut. I wore the boots and the ripped jeans, and I was begging for a Taco Bell commercial and a Budweiser commercial, and doing silly.
This is so good, because I didn't know this story. This is good. You guys get your coffee or your tea.
Yeah, this you know, silly one-liners or, you know, little horror movies and stuff like that. I mean, I was really spending so much time and energy because I had been doing music, and music led me into acting. And I had such a tunnel vision as to what I thought my life, what I wanted. And you know, there was no opportunity for something new to be birthed, because I was really being so focused on a goal-oriented thing. My ego was attached to becoming a famous, well-known actor. And in that process, I became miserable. I became depressed. I, you know, reached out for support and therapy, and I didn't know what was happening. I was really feeling like the walls were caving in. And it was then when a friend gave me Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. And that is what kind of really catapulted a memory of something that was inside of me that was ready to be birthed. It was ready to be revealed. It was ready to be experienced and embodied. And I worked my butt off for about 3.5, 4 months, saved a bunch of money, subletted my apartment, subletted my car, and I backpacked around the world, like starting with Europe. And I left with absolutely no itinerary. I left with no agenda. All I knew was I was going to land in London, and I had the first place I had booked, like the hostel I was going to stay in London. But I didn't like have a map. I didn't even know where I was going to be going. I didn't have a list of all the places. It wasn't about sightseeing. It was about letting go. And in the letting go of the attachment I had to who I thought I was, or who I thought I was meant to be, what began to emerge was far beyond anything I could have conceived. And I still get goosebumps. Like I still get, because it was it was the most profound time in my life, like other than the birth of my son. But, you know, the opening that happened, the guidance that began to happen all through the weeks of me just being open and receiving with no attachment to how the day should look, what I should be doing. I would literally just leave my door wherever I was and just begin walking. And I was led to the exact sites and people and places that were giving me this rich experience and connection. And this went on for months until I'd gone through England, and I was up in Scotland and down to France, Italy, Greece. And once I was in Greece, I was in Israel. And then once I was in Israel, it was my dream as a kid to be in the pyramids. So it was an evolution of several months of opening and receiving actually my higher self, and then being in the King's Chamber and experiencing that on a profound, very expanded state. And this is important to everyone who's listening, because this is what you're being asked to right now. This is like literally the time we're in right now is each of us getting a chance to walk through the door of the King's Chamber or Queen's Chamber, whichever, you know, and to have this kind of accelerated experience, to have this kind of connection to a way of being that is so expansive and so unified that it elevates you to a whole new dimension and way of being that's going to unleash your power, your creativity, your heart-centered presence, which is going to shift your reality and, of course, change the world's reality.
Keep going.
And those keep going. And, you know, and I always have pyramids around. Look, you got a little pyramid right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you have pyramids on your site too.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yes. And I can get into that. But so those that are willing to walk through that door of the chamber, okay, are going to experience an accelerated elevation of their energy, their frequency, connection to their power. Those that are in resistance and stay in fear, that are attached, right, to that life that they thought was going to make them happy, that they thought was the goal that they really wanted, is going to bring more compression, depression, fear, chaos, destruction. So we're really at this opportunity, right? And really the heart is this, like we can choose which way do we want to go. Ultimately, it always comes back to here, to the beginning, to the source, but it literally is doing this, right? We can choose entering through the Great Pyramid Chamber, right? And go into an accelerated way of being, which leads us to our essence, our source, or we can choose the long way and go through fear, chaos, destruction, and pain, but that brings us to our knees and to surrender ultimately back to source.
Yeah.
It's just a choice.
Yeah. So what?
No,
so,
don't talk. I still have a lot more to say.
done yet.
So, yeah, you should, about this night, you should go,
you tell me when you're done.
Yeah, or get those glasses with the eyes like on it.
Yeah, I'm totally paying attention, totally listening.
Oh, I'm meditating it in. I'm taking this in deeply. I would love to see that.
Yes, I love him. I love him.
The brilliant interviewer. She sleeps while you speak. Oh,
I ask my questions in
Sleep and Speak interviews by Kristen Nina.
Sleep and Speak. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Keep going. Keep talking.
Okay. How much more time do we have?
So just like 3.5 minutes. No. So here's my question. So I know that you were a monk.
Well, of what order?
I don't know. Well, weren't you? Didn't you take so to give us a little bit more of this journey?
Well, okay. So we'll continue the journey. So you have an awakening, and what an awakening is to me is having an experience that really recalls your essence, your true way of being, which I experienced in the pyramid. And over the years, I got very attached in the seductive highness of being spiritual.
Yeah.
And I was meditating many hours every day. I was really high as a kite. And people that I knew previously to leaving looked at me like I'd lost my mind, right? I lost a lot of friends. They just weren't, because before that I was an actor. I was, drinking and partying and living a very different lifestyle and had no real connection or relationship to this part of myself. So over the years, I began teaching, speaking, and writing about all my experiences, what I had learned, downloads of science and spirituality and mathematics, and all of these things were downloaded me that I had no previous recollection or reference or interest in. And now I am fascinated. And like I said, I was attached. And through that attachment, though, even through that, I needed to pay the rent and all of those things. And I developed these companies that were just born out of an impulse that came through me. Music, being a musician all my life, created this music company, which allowed me to really take my spirituality into a whole other way, because ultimately I had a staff working for me. And years started to pass where I went so deep within that I didn't want to go out either, even physically out into the world very much, or did I want to really go out into a relationship, certainly not a sexual relationship, because I was so within myself and I was so happy there. I was so inspired there. I was so awake there. I was so alive there. And I was creating a separation, though, in that experience. So years went by, and it wound up being almost 10 years where I was pretty much abstinent for 10 years.
Wow.
And happily and of choice, because I mean, look at
who
me.
wouldn't?
I mean, right? And
He inspires and lifts, and then bam, like there it is.
There's the
there's the
ego.
humanity.
There's
It
the
never
humanity.
goes
It had
away.
to come. Thank God, because it's
Thank
what
God.
keeps me from just running into the train. So yeah, I mean, I would kiss or whatever, but like the idea of me going into sexual intimacy, it wasn't something I was wanting to do unless I felt this really powerful pull to be with that person. And it wound up being about a 10-year process of me really just doing my spirituality, my meditation, speaking and teaching and channeling, and then I met my wife. And
so you met Anahita in that process, like at the end of that process for you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, she was the end to my process. She was what broke the abstinence, and I married her. I knew that we were, I knew this was something that was different, and I knew that it was going to go deeper. So this isn't about being abstinent. It was a choice.
Yeah.
What I can say is that the more in relationship, and when I say like in relationship, the more in we are, as we're all being forced to do right here and now,
Yep.
is to go in, right?
Yep.
The more we are, the less we're relying on the external world to give us something. The less in need we are of some kind of validation, acknowledgement, connection. Not in that it's wrong. It's just that when we make that shift, it's actually creating something inside of us that's empowering, it's elevating us. And that person is who then wants to be extended out into the external world, right? Like I got to develop and cultivate this aspect of being that attracted her to want to get together. If I had been the other way, we probably would not have gotten together.
Well, you recently told me, and this is really good advice. You recently told me something interesting. So here I am.
That's a first.
It's actually the 1.5 times. Well, you told me something halfway interesting, so count that as a half. Just because you
that I read on a fortune cookie anyway.
It seems like maybe you need that half. It was this. You said, listen. So for me, my life has been very masculine, right? I've been kind of what I would say recognizing the masculine, which is pushing and driving and producing and kind of, externally focused on my results, whether that be my results with my physical health or my body or my income or my whatever, where I live, like externally focused on pushing and driving and forcing an outcome. So goal oriented.
Like really, I was before leaving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've realized that, and now, the pendulum for me is swinging over here. And one of the things that you told me just a couple of days ago was there's the word that you used. It wasn't
equilibrium.
Alluring. It was alluring.
Oh, seduction.
Like,
it's as seductive. Yes.
So being in a spiritual awakening and kind of having the pendulum swing, which your pendulum swung, and it was over there for 10 years.
And it's a large pendulum.
It's just
you just threw it up there. I wasn't gonna leave that up there. Come on. Yeah.
Good Lord, people. Do you see what I'm working with?
Yes.
The pendulum, this little pendulum. You like that? You like how I answered the call there? So the tiny pendulum, let's call it a micro pendulum.
Let's go. Yes.
I said when we first started this, I said, I don't even know if words are going to come out. We're not going to get through 26 minutes of this.
So microscopic is really on people's tongues right now.
It really is.
It is.
Anyway, you said this, it's seductive on either side. It's seductive on the side of like accumulating stuff and status and ego and attachment to like my wealth or my, all of the stuff that we are attached to in our culture. And now as I am going through this spiritual awakening and really diving into spirit and source and God and my higher calling. And what he said to me was, that is just seductive. It's seductive on
As
both
seductive.
sides.
Yeah.
Yes.
I say, Vegas and Shambhala are just equally as seductive. And it's true. And what I mean by that is visit both by all means. Go visit and experience both by all means. They're essential. But neither one of us, while in the human condition, can live there. If you stay in Vegas, you're going to go broke. If you stay in Vegas,
you're probably
going
to get an STD or get someone pregnant or get pregnant, all of that stuff.
Yeah, or you'll die from secondhand smoke or whatever, right? Yeah. And gambling, if you stay in Shambhala, you won't really be able to be experienced in the physical world and utilize that energy to bring out that energy into the physical world to make impact. So what are we talking about? All of the extremes are equally are one and the same, right? Have you ever cried so hard that you laugh?
Yeah.
Have you ever laughed so hard that you cried?
Right.
Have you ever put yourself like in really hot situation, you get cold? And like the extremes are actually connected, they're unified. But when we live in one extreme, then we're staying separate in our consciousness. We're staying separate. And when we experience separation in our consciousness, we create disconnection, chaos, destruction in our life, because we're not seeing it from a holistic, from a unified way of being, which is where our power, not victim, experience resides. So I'm always talking about the golden mean, which is the divine proportion between the two extremes. And that's where consciousness is born. Consciousness is born in bringing these two worlds together, Shambhala and Vegas, together, where we get to be in the physical world, but not of the physical world. And in doing that, we experience kind of our divinity while being in human form.
Okay, so how do you do that? Just real quick, just wrapping it up.
I have it in a 2-step program. Let me just read it to you.
The 2-step program is shut. Step 1 is shut, and step 2 is up, and it costs $3,000 a day. So we'll just get you guys signed up for that right now. I get it. So, but because here's where I am. I know this realm. I know this realm over here.
Yes.
And this realm over here, it
you
is
helped
seductive.
Build Vegas. Let me tell you.
I really did. I mean, I really did. And where I'm at is, how do I merge the two? Because one of the things that because here's what was occurring for me was, that's wrong. Like judging.
Well, that's the key. So that's the first step, is letting go of your attachment as one being better than the other, one being more spiritual than the other, right? I think we were talking about, I was joking with you. You said, are you using headphones? And I said, no, I'm using heartphones. I don't want to be locked in the confines of my mind, right?
Get out of your head.
We compartmentalize everything when we stay in our head. Good, bad, right, wrong, black, white, all of that stuff. And that compartmentalization that we do every day, it really creates a separation in our experience. And when we're experiencing our reality as separate, then we are removed from it. And that means reality is happening to us rather than we are generating and causing reality, which from a scientific basis, we understand is reality, is the truth. That literally our consciousness, our energy informs physical matter to shape and adhere and vibrate along to where we are vibration inside of ourselves. So that's not a myth. Is that? Oh,
yeah, this is your timeout because here's why.
Bathroom break already.
No, I love this. And
is it landing for you?
It's so landing for me. And I also want you to almost break this down a little bit.
I know.
For the noob.
For the noob. Thank you.
Because I'm sure there's a lot,
Well, it's what happens when you just talk to yourself all the time. You think, So let's break it down even more. Okay. Which part would you like me to break down?
So what you said about we're bringing the forms together. There's always this question of how do I do that? And I know because there's a science, there's actual, you can measure the vibration of something. You can measure the waves. You can it's science. And what does that mean? Like how, if I'm here in this, if I'm here in the normal state of I'm consuming what's coming at me. This is me in life, right? Normal life. And I consume the news and I consume energy from other people. And this is a really great topic, this kind of consuming, like whatever's coming at us, it has an energy, does it not?
Yes.
So I just want you to kind of talk about, because I love the whole quantum conversation, and there may be people listening who don't really know what that means, but there may be
people listening, ... We don't know.
People are definitely listening, and and we don't know if they know, but I would love for you to just dig in a little bit.
Well, let's see if because what I teach is wave consciousness.
Okay. Love it.
Okay. Go. And I utilize scientific principles along with spiritual laws. And I do that to show there's really no separation in between science, right? Because if we have science as Vegas and we have spirituality as Shambhala, then I'm bridging those two worlds through understanding of scientific principles and spiritual laws, unifying my consciousness, which allows me to experience a transcendent way of being. So taking into consideration everything in the universe is energy. Science has proven that. I'm energy, all I am is, but we're the same energy. I'm the same energy actually of this cup, of this container. I'm the same energy as anything that the mind's eye or eye can see. So knowing that at the core, everything is energy, atoms, right? That energy moves and behaves in two ways. It moves and behaves either as a particle, an individual particle, or from place to place, or as a wave, as a wave. So what I'm saying, what I teach, is that this wave is spirit. This wave is the Tao, right? The Taoists spoke about the way, and I'm calling be the wave, right? Based on science, is that this wave is unified field. This wave is God. This wave is all, right? And we can have a direct relationship with it that allows us to co-create our physical world reality. And the way in which we get to do that is through experiencing our heart-centered presence. And I can go more into that. What happens is when we are locked here in our heads, the wave is wanting to seek to be expressed through us, but it's here, the denser aspect of being, and it literally kind of shatters like a wave of an ocean hitting an ocean wall, right? It breaks up into individual particles, which are your thoughts. They're your attachments. They're your beliefs. They're your mental constructs. And those individual particles, just like the wave, they seek to connect,
come together
through agreement. That's why we love when you agree with me, this mental construct is coming together and it's forming an attachment like a wall that will then cover or permeate my consciousness.
Oh, that's so good. Stop. I'm just going to say.
Okay, yeah.
Go. Oh. Because I needed a minute.
Okay. And that's what most human beings are operating on: mental constructs, mental agreement, and attachments. That's why we have so much separation, so many more division, all of that in the world.
Yeah.
What happens when we experience the nature of reality, this field, the unified field, right, the wave, as I call it, and we allow it to move through us as us from our heart-centered presence, then we are vibrating. We're in an elevated state because the heart is like our central source of energy, our God self, higher self. We are elevating not only our own vibration, but we're elevating that which is wanting to be moved and expressed through us. Therefore, we are joining together that frequency through people, places, and things, which is making an impact on the world that will actually raise the vibration, not only of yourself, but of the planet. And it's sustainable, and it's unifying, and it creates joy, it creates peace, abundance. The other way creates limitation, chaos, division, separation, destruction.
So
And how's that working for us?
It's blatantly not. It's a very
So
apparently
why
not.
is the world like this? Why do we keep choosing the same solutions over and over, expecting a different result?
You want,
Why?
you want my opinion? My big,
God, no.
oh God.
No, I would love your
I
opinion.
love you.
I'm just kidding.
I just love you. We like slap each other across the face and then give each other a hug. Like,
Yeah.
what are you, an idiot? It's April Fool's Day. Did you know that, you fool? It's April Fool's Day. Anyway, you didn't know. No, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Left.
Right.
So why we do this is because it's known. It's known, it's safe, it's comfortable, it's
Why do we choose known, safe, comfortable?
well, it's where the ego lives. It's where being, it's when I can say I know something and I'm right about it, there's a sense of, my experience, there's a sense of validation of self,
Right.
little self. There's a sense
What
of
does
like,
the ego want more than anything for you?
the ego wants to be right, but it also wants to avoid any sort of discomfort.
Well, it wants to protect.
Right.
Right. And the ego, the mind, which for sure we're not demonizing the ego. The ego is an essential component to our physical world experience. It helps us navigate this physical world, time and space reality.
Mm-hmm.
So the ego is an essential part to our awakening. However, the ego is attached to protecting you, and the way in which it protects you is keeping everything the same.
Mm-hmm.
And when we want to keep everything the same in our life, hang on to this, hang on to your hats. When we resist the natural evolution that everything in the entire universe is always expanding, and we're in resistance to that natural way of being, then we are living from a fear state. We're afraid.
Yeah.
And we're afraid of the unknown. And welcome to your life right here and now. Because if there are ever a time of incredible variations of unknowns, is now. That we're collectively, globally experiencing. And this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to get real. Ask yourself, what is it you really want? What is wanting to be expressed through here that's going to shift and elevate you to all new levels of joy and abundance and power and creativity? What is it? Because you are not even going to have the opportunity to be life again, as it were. If everyone's waiting for things to go back to normal, we're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
So the awakening is at hand.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a spiritual awakening or it can be a rude awakening. Both are spiritual. However, one's a choice going this direction or go that direction, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we share is that you had an occurrence in your life. I'm striving for this. I'm thinking that these are the things that are going to make me happy. I get this book and I decide I'm going to go out and I'm going to travel and I'm going to go to these places and I'm going to open myself up and I'm going to let go. I'm going to surrender. And I'm going to ask myself this question. And this is the question that I've been asking myself for my adult life, is who am I? My question has been, who am I? Why am I here? What am I here for? And figuring out the iterations of the answer to that question.
Do you want me to give you the answer to that question? This will be the first time ever. No, seriously, this will be the first time ever someone has given this to you, and therefore a gift to the entire world. When you ask, who am I, right?
Mm-hmm.
It answers your question. Do it in reverse.
I am.
Who am I?
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And that is who you are.
Yeah.
You are an I am presence of the divine. You are a powerful divine creator. And what I wanted to presence, though, was you said, when I read this book, I decided. I didn't decide. I experienced this knowing.
Mm-hmm. I remembered.
No.
Not yet.
you just like, No, I'm saying it wasn't a mental concept. Oh,
Right.
now I'm going to go and experience this. It was a feeling. It was a vibration. It was a deep knowing that was being communicated through this, not this.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, all I knew is I had to leave my life. All I knew is that if I stayed on this course of chasing after this acting carrot of fame and misery, I was going to go down. Like I was going to really experience a very different life that I didn't want to. And so everybody now, you're basically being saved all the travel. Like I had to leave my life, but now, define myself. But now the times are so accelerated. There's such opportunity to receive and download, and for you to get clear as to what this expression is wanting to be created right here and now in this pause, in this global stillness. So it's a gift.
It is. It is. What do you think that people who are really, they don't know that there is anything other than the context of fear? Meaning I know this and you know this because we've gone through similar journeys and similar work, that I am not my experience. I am not the fear consciousness, that I'm not that. And what do you say to people who don't know that that's not who they are? Meaning my external reality, the state of the world right now, that all of it lies over here. What do you say to those people? Because they're listening to you right now. He says nothing.
You were asking me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
April Fools.
Well,
Let me tell you what the answer is, guys. Just
yeah.
I'm just going to pull Aaron off here.
Yeah, listen. We don't need Aaron. First, it's really important to recognize yet the fearful part of yourself is a part of yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is, right? We're not negating the ego. We're not negating the fear. We're learning how to be in relationship to it, just like Vegas. Mm-hmm. So Vegas is the fear. Vegas is the science. Vegas is the physical world. Vegas is the seductive material world. It's the mind, right? And we want to be in relationship to it, not separate from it. So what we bring is heart-centered presence to the fear. So I was working with someone before I spoke to you, what are you afraid of? Mm. When did you begin to experience this fear? Who else in your life lived from this place of fear, right? Because usually our habitual patterns or our ways of being are informed from our past.
Right.
And if we're not bringing awareness and consciousness to the present moment, we're living based on our past. And that is a belief that was never your own. So we're essentially living someone else's life. And where's the freedom in that?
There he is. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. I was wondering when he was going to come out, and there he is. Mr. Jack Frost.
Jackie Frost.
There he is. This is what Aaron, with a little known fact. Aaron,
stop saying little Aaron. Like,
just saying.
You have no reference. Let's just be clear.
Oh, Anahita probably made the right choice. I'm hoping that she did. What you don't know, what you may not know about Aaron is that he loves to do impersonations. That was Jack Canfield. Why can't I think of his name?
That would be Jack Nicholson.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
You're no more crazier than the average son of a bitch. I've been doing Jack Nicholson
obviously since
I was 10, and that's 25 years ago. And,
that's April Fool's if I've ever
give or take. My parents didn't want to take us to Disney movies, so my father took me to see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at the age of 10 because his childhood was that painful.
Because you can handle it.
Yeah, but the funny thing is like I identified with, Randall Patrick McMurphy, and I identified with the guy who wanted to bust open the system. I identified with the guy who just resisted authority and didn't want to just do as he was told. And he wanted to bring to life all of the people that were asleep and medicated. Oh. Randall Patrick McMurphy was kind of the Christ character. And ultimately, he liberated the Native American, the all heart character. How are we doing on time? That's, I've got another minute or so.
You're good.
Um, anyway, so yes, I do. I obviously have that actor in me, and I've always, since a very young age, I would impersonate everybody. And people think I'm making fun of them, but it's actually like I so desperately want to know what it's like to be them. Like I love feeling who they are, like, and experiencing that. And it's sometimes Anahita is tired of living with the multiple personalities or characters of me. But it's interesting that I really came to understand that it's like, I'm so curious. What is it like to sound and be you for a little while? And that wasn't how I approached acting.
Right.
I approached acting because I knew I could. And I approached acting not thinking I wanted to be a stage actor. I wanted to do films, but I wound up doing Shakespeare and loving it,
Yeah.
So
here's what's great about Aaron. Everything.
There's not one thing.
I have not been paid.
Freaking compartmentalize me into one thing.
I'm not paid. Well, and here's what's great about that. When you say compartmentalization, that is integration is where your power really is. And I would say I've experienced integration, which is this and this combined heart, head. Really, I've experienced that not very many times, but the times that I have, it's been a magical experience. It's been as if I could do anything, meaning all parts of myself were on display. All parts of myself. Sometimes we show up on these Facebook Lives and in our business like a professional, hey guys, I really want you to opt into this video, blah, blah.
Well, and there's nothing professional about you. Don't worry.
There's nothing. Thank you.
Yes.
See why I hang out with him? Is he really?
Yeah.
But there is like this piece that we feel like, okay, and I've experienced this. I'm going to be mom now. I'm going to be wife now. I'm going to be, funny Kristen now. I'm going to be serious business Kristen now. I'm going to be athletic Kristen now. I'm going to be, the next Oprah now. And when I'm all of those things all at once, I am authentic and I am in my power.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what I heard you say from.
Absolutely. Yeah. The first step you were asking, like, what are some tangible, practical ways in which people can begin to really have that awakening, is to recognize, yes, I have the fear. Yes, I have the resistance. Yes, I have a seduction to going down the path of the material world. I'm making lots of money, having beautiful things. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep that. It just can't be foundational. So we bring the spiritual, the ways of being, the heart-centered presence, we make that foundational, and that is what will bring about Vegas, not the other way around. We've been living like Vegas gives me this. It gives me the happiness, the freedom, the joy, and all of that. And we know it's not working. We know it's not working. So avoid the craziness, avoid the disappointment of approaching something from the same level of consciousness that it took to create it, expecting something different to happen, and bring this unity inside yourself. Breathe. Ask yourself, what are you in resistance to? What are you afraid of? Where did it come from? And really feel it. Don't analyze it. Just feel it. And when we give ourselves that opportunity to feel it and allow it to move through us, more space is created inside of us.
Yeah.
So the more space we experience inside of us, the more free we feel inside. The more free we feel inside, the more empowered we feel. The more empowered we feel, the more confident we get to create from that place. And that's what's going to shift your life.
So maybe I should just stop the series. I'm good, right? We're good.
Yeah, or the series literally could just be me. I mean, I know you have Judith on tomorrow and all of that. I mean, but it's like, really, I can't believe you asked other people,
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little technical stuff on the back end. You keep looking at yourself in the Zoom. I know that's what you're doing, and keep talking to folks. What I would like you to discuss at this point is this. Here's the intention for me doing these one-on-one interviews and our Sunday, what I'm internally calling Sunday sermons, which is like a collective of us. Aaron is one of them. We go on live and we talk, we bring people in and we talk about all this kind of stuff.
Take the R out of that.
Yeah.
Out of the sermon.
What are you, 12? Anyway, I'm trying to be spiritual and serious here. Jeez. That's messed up, because I can't bring myself back to what I was even going to. Oh, that is so messed up. My intention with this series, I'm not even looking at you, and I'm gonna mute you here in a second.
Yeah, mute me.
My intention with this series is I'm going live every weekday at noon, bringing a new Yahoo on. This will actually be the only Yahoo. Everyone else will actually be legitimate. But
or
what
Yahoo
my
with an
intention,
exclamation point.
the Yahoo of the day. My intention is that these messages get sent out. I would love for these messages to reach
Not
50,
attached.
not attached, but like, how cool would it be over this next this month of April, these interviews get shared, and there is an energy that is being created here right now. There's an energy that Aaron and I have that's being created right now, and it is an elevated energy. It's an energy of higher consciousness, and I want that to go out into the world. Not the bullshit that's happening out on the news, not that that's not valuable, but as a response to what we're currently experiencing, that this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for your evolution. This is an opportunity for you to go inside and really ask yourself the questions that I think are begging to be answered and discovered or remembered. And it is who you are, which is I am. And my intention is that 50,000 people see these interviews. So my request is that you share it. Now, I'm putting this out on social media, and Aaron has generously offered a free gift. And if you would like his free gift, I'll tell you how to get it. But I want you to talk a little bit about what you're offering. I've experienced it; it's magical, and what it does for people, what it is.
Yes, you as a grand contestant on the
Price Isn't Not Soul, Wit, and Wisdom.
Yeah, I love that. This is a basic wave activation that I developed. This is part of the process. You were saying, what are some practical steps that I can do? Well, the wave activation is actually energetically going to create a union between these two ways of being, and they're going to create the heart-centered presence where the wave can actually move through you. That unified field, God or spirit, move through you, elevate you, and inform the action. So the wave activation, it's about a 8 or 9 minute activation, and it's initiating the wave to be experienced through you as you. And it's powerful. And yes, that is my gift to you and the lovely audience that is watching.
Thank you. And thank you for
well done.
Being the chosen male. You will not be the only male, FYI. You'll be, chosen male. The first one in this series, maybe the funniest one, but here's the thing. Now someone gets to top this. So I'm just letting you know.
Good luck with that, folks.
Yeah, good. I'm calling in Michael Strasner here, and we'll just see if he can bring some of maybe he can do an impersonation of Aaron Glassman. Well, I think that would be fantastic.
That would be the highest.
That would be so great.
The highest. Amazing achievement by anybody.
Here's
are you intimating we're kind of closing and things
I'm
down?
intimating it. I'm actually outwardly suggesting, and I'm about to just
you could have clicked
turning the camera off. You see that I can't even shut this guy up. I just posted in the Facebook comments, soulwitandwisdom.com. That is the URL to get access to Aaron's gift. It's already up there, ready to go. The wave activation that he's providing. And Aaron, how can people reach out to you? So if they want to find out more about you and maybe contact you, how can they? Please just answer seriously, because I know you're coming up with You know what? Forget it.
I just no, seriously. I forgot what URL means.
I don't know what it means, but it's
Unrelated link.
It's your.
I don't know.
It's your website.
It's the web page.
Yeah.
Yes. They can reach out to me on Facebook. They can go to my page, Science of Love 528 page on Facebook. They can also email me at info@scienceoflove528.
.com.
Yeah, .com. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here for you.
Thank you. Ask me to tie a knot. I don't know. Yeah, I would love to hear any questions or support anybody, and always being of service. So
you know what? Let me just do this really quick. I want to just don't go anywhere because I know you're super busy. I want to see if there's any questions, because if there are questions over on the Facebook,
that would be awesome.
Let's just see what's happening. Who's this guy and why is he on here with you, Kristen? I don't know who that is.
I can answer that question.
I'm kidding. That was hysterical. 11 comments. How come I'm not seeing? See, I'm afraid that if I click on this, oh, look, there it goes. Judith said, hey, there's Judith Riches tomorrow. Sorry to steal your thunder. She is not a Yahoo. Okay. She's on tomorrow. She's legit.
She is legit.
Yeah. No, I don't see any questions.
Her a national treasure.
She's a national.
Any question?
She's a global treasure. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to make sure that Aaron is tagged in this. And if there are any questions for him, if he's not willing to go on my page, I will make sure that those questions get answered. Please share this. Please share this. My business page, this Self-Expressed with Kristen, is where we're going to be going live for the next 30 days or so, probably longer. But my intention is really to share people like Aaron, share the people that I have in my life who contribute to me feeling safe, feeling like, wow, this is such a great opportunity. I feel so empowered and inspired and supported and held in this time. And I really rely on my community, and my community is made up of amazing human beings like Aaron. He's honestly one of my favorites.
Thank you, darling. Seriously, receive this right now. Beautiful, powerful, influential, inspiring woman you are. Thank you very much for allowing me to share in this vision and intention with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
May it far exceed your expectations.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love you.
Thank you. I love you.
Okay.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, guys. Go out right now and spread some love, even if it's just calling someone up and saying, hey,
spread some namaste.
I think you're an asshole. April Fools.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.